Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to unpack the truly remarkable, almost hard to believe, journey of Honda. We're looking at how a tiny post-war Japanese workshop absolutely transformed into one of the most recognizable mobility companies on the face of the planet. It's a story just packed with relentless innovation, incredible racing victories, some legendary engines, and honestly, a few genuinely surprising inventions along the way.
To really set the stage here, just ask yourself this. What if a single company had the sheer engineering chops to build motorcycles, practical family cars, high-performance racing machines, and even aircraft? I know, mastering all of those totally different domains sounds almost impossible, right? But that is exactly what Honda does.
But of course, they didn't just wake up one day and start building jets. Let's get into Section 1, the foundation, beginnings on two wheels.
What's truly fascinating to me is just how rapidly this whole evolution took place. The Honda Motor Company was founded in 1948, right after World War II, and back then, they were focusing entirely on motorcycles. But look at this acceleration. By the 1960s, they had already jumped into the hyper-demanding world of Formula One. In 1972, they revolutionized daily driving with the Civic. And by 1990, boom, they launched the NSX supercar. We are literally talking about going from motorized bicycles to a global powerhouse in just a few decades.
And the driving force behind that lightning-fast timeline, the founder, Soichiro Honda. This guy didn't just encourage innovation, his passion for engineering basically demanded it. His core philosophy was actually pretty simple. You cannot push boundaries without breaking a few things along the way. That deep willingness to learn from failure, that became the absolute bedrock of Honda's entire corporate identity.
And that intense culture of experimentation naturally led them to the ultimate testing ground. Section 2, the laboratory. Motorsport as a testing ground.
You see, Honda has always treated motorsport as a literal engineering laboratory. They firmly believe that racing pushes things like engines, aerodynamics, and cooling systems to their extreme, absolute limits. The idea is brilliant in its simplicity, really. If a component can survive and win under the brutal, unrelenting stress of a racetrack, well, the lessons they learn from that are going to make their everyday production vehicles infinitely better. And they took that whole laboratory philosophy everywhere. We aren't just talking about a passing interest in racing here. Honda entered Formula One in the 60s, eventually supplying these immensely powerful championship-winning engines. But they also dominated MotoGP, IndyCar, touring cars, endurance racing, you name it. Conquering all these different disciplines totally cemented their undisputed reputation as an engineering-first company. But let's be real, an engineering company cannot survive on racing trophies alone. So let's move to Section 3, the global shift, building a practical icon.
That major global shift arrived in 1972. This was a massive, massive turning point in the automotive landscape, marking the birth of the Honda Civic.
So why did the Civic become such a global icon? Because it perfectly balanced four key pillars. First, immense practicality for everyday use. It just worked for people worldwide. Second, incredible efficiency, which meant major fuel savings for drivers. Third, affordability. It was highly accessible. And finally, and this is a big one, thanks to all that racing know-how, legendary reliability. Over multiple generations, the Civic evolved from this little economy car into a massive, globally dominant lineup.
And speaking of evolution, let's talk about the golden era. Section 4, the performance era. High-revving JDM legends. Okay, you literally cannot talk about Honda's performance era without talking about VTEC. It is easily one of their most famous innovations. Basically, VTEC physically changes the engine's valve operation depending on how hard you're driving. Why is this considered the holy grail of engine design? Because it brilliantly balances smooth, efficient drivability at low speeds with explosive, high RPM performance the second you put your foot down. It's the ultimate best of both worlds. That VTEC technology was the beating heart of some of the most famous engines ever built, specifically the legendary B-Series and K-Series. In the global tuning scene, these names are absolute royalty. Enthusiasts just flock to them because they offer this unmatched combination of out-of-the-box performance, massive tuning potential, and bulletproof reliability, even when you push them to the absolute limit.
Now, this total mastery of engineering inevitably led to supercar ambitions. In 1990, Honda introduced the NSX. It was a total revelation. It proved, once and for all, that a Japanese manufacturer could build a sophisticated mid-engine sports car that could actually rival established European exotics.
But its true claim to fame? Formula One champion Ayrton Senna, yeah, the Ayrton Senna, actually helped test and develop it. His feedback allowed the engineers to obsessively refine the chassis, taking Honda's F1 expertise and wiring it directly to the street.
And they didn't stop there. Following the NSX, Honda continued to thrill purists with the S2000. This car became an instant legend for two big reasons: its incredibly lightweight design and a naturally aspirated engine capable of screaming to extremely high RPMs for a production car. It just proved yet again that Honda was the undisputed master of engine precision.
Now, to properly sell these sophisticated performance and luxury models over in the United States, Honda made a really bold strategic move back in 1986. They launched Acura. As their dedicated luxury brand, Acura competed directly in the premium market, and they used models like the Integra and the NSX to quickly establish a formidable, high-performance image.
So we've seen their sheer dominance on the road and the track. But as you probably guessed, they didn't stop there. Section 5, Beyond the Road. Expanding the Empire.
Just think about the massive scale of this company's manufacturing power. Honda's business goes far, far beyond just automobiles. Yes, they are a massive global motorcycle manufacturer, but they also produce heavy power equipment, marine engines, robotics, and, incredibly, aircraft. Their core engineering philosophy is applied to practically everything that moves.
And the ultimate proof of that sky-high ambition, the HondaJet program. It is a stunning demonstration of a company taking decades of cutting-edge expertise, all those lessons learned on racetracks and highways, and successfully applying it to the highly complex, totally unforgiving world of aviation. It proves there is virtually no mechanical challenge that they won't tackle.
But look, Honda knows they can't just rest on their legacy. Because their engineering philosophy is so deeply rooted in efficiency, they are heavily investing in next-generation mobility right now. They mastered gasoline engines, they moved early into hybrid systems, they developed hydrogen fuel cells, and now they're actively advancing battery electric vehicles. By exploring all these multiple powertrains, they are ensuring they remain a crucial mobility company well into the future.
Ultimately, when you step back, Honda's story is one of pure, unadulterated engineering ambition. I mean, going from a small post-war workshop making motorized bicycles, to the massive global success of the Civic, to the screaming VTEC engines of the NSX, dominating Formula One, and eventually taking to the skies. They have repeatedly pushed traditional boundaries, and now they're gearing up for a whole new electrified chapter.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. After seeing this incredible legacy, I've got to ask, which Honda is your absolute favorite? Is it the raw practicality of the Civic Type R, the F1-inspired perfection of the NSX, or maybe the high-revving thrill of the S2000? Think about it. And the next time you see a Honda out in the wild, whether it's a lawnmower, a family sedan, or a jet, just remember the rebel spirit of engineering that built it. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep exploring.